The Western Way, the Minor Arcana Royals. In my other videos, I go into great depth in speaking about the years of research on the Fourfold Way. I recognized it in tarot cards. I spent years with correspondences and saw much of the four spiritual paths in Western myth and modern systems. For many years, I had wanted to make a tarot deck. I tried many various styles and designs, trying to fit the correspondences into the images. In my graphic novel series, Tales of Anieth, I had a main character make a deck based on the other characters in the book. For a Veldenak, I had to make the deck itself. Then I made a deck for my sister that was all animals, found where my books were set in Northwestern Europe. In making up the royals, I listened to what had been done. Crowley talked about each royal being an element, so the muse would be the fire of water or the fire of earth, etc. The Rider-Waite deck talked about the royals representing people in the querent's life. The suits were adjusted to blondes or darker-haired people, male or female. I did different designs for each deck. The nature deck showed insects on plants. The stone nature deck added the phases of the moon, and the Anieth deck was shapeshifters. I didn't like the idea of a knight being a warrior, since in stories the hero was always a young fool. I did small animals for the nature deck, and the stone nature deck, often clowns or fools. For the Anieth deck, I did do warriors, each with weapons representing the suits. The queen cards had to be mothers, since the idea was that a queen was an agent of transformation. I picked animals from my work on correspondences. The Anieth deck shows some of the queens of the Tualara, all pregnant. I wanted to make the king cards more than the male animal in its prime. I wanted them to be teachers passing on knowledge from one generation to the next. The Anieth cards again show corresponding talents for each suit. My two Gaelic decks have 5 suits with the addition of a sage card, the stone nature deck with birds and a bat, and the Anieth deck with the great maguses of each suit. The path of water, cups. I put cups as the suit of the body, water, and hearts. The gift of this path is in life itself, celebrating the talents of the body and of creating life. The pitfall is in wanting to hang on to youth and life, even when water has become stagnant. The suit is blue for water, summer, and the basic color of life. The Muse of Cups is the water of life, or the circle of life that inspires life. Fiorna Quacha. When people think of a muse, they think of inspiration or physical beauty. This is the nubile beauty that dazzles and delights. People become more captivating when someone falls in love with them. This card means sex, dazzling sex, and then more and more dazzling sex. Enchantment and pleasure, enchantment and ecstasy. This card represents the ability to change underwater. The grayling is a plain fish of the European rivers, yet underwater it takes on a multicolored sheen. The plantain is a plant that when wet secretes a gel that makes its seeds one of the most soothing mucilages on the planet. The Anieth card shows a king salmon, another shapeshifter of the water, a male version of the Selkie myth, an animal groom of fairy tales. The moon is a new crescent for the first leg of the human journey. The Muse of Cups reversed means drowning in the senses. This is the inability to break off attachment to sensory experiences that delight and destroy. This card can mean that the entire situation is undermined by a severe addiction of some form. Lake Nakwacha. Almost everyone wants to perform at the peak of their physical ability and never feel tired. This card signifies the feeling of performing without constraint or effort, like dancing in a dream where you can fly, or dazzling everyone with the way you can play a game or make love. The Frog Prince is an ancient story of an enchanted groom. The frog stands for transformation and fertility, but is also seen as foolishness. In other stories, frogs are animal helpers. It was not until recently in Europe that their licentious behavior has made them a symbol of witchcraft. The center card shows a warrior of the willow with her bewildering spears meant to hypnotize foes. She is a dryad protector of the ancient people who despised human intrusion. Note that the word leich also means lazy person or commoner in Gaelic. The protector of cards reversed is whimsical. One day you can perform perfectly, the next day you can't seem to find the groove. Ultimately frustrating, this card can mean that the details of the performance are dragging you down despite your attention to them. Aruna Quacha. This card represents someone who can take the overwhelming panoply of the senses and harmonize it into ecstasy that is beyond the physical, as if rising up out of the rain and clouds into the full sunshine of enlightenment. This card represents the ability to rise above the physical constraints and leap out of the waters of the present state, if only for a moment. Swans, egrets, and dolphins are all symbols of fertility goddesses. The egret is a close relative of the stork, a bird that is still associated with good luck and fertility. The swan and the dolphin are both symbols of sex, family, and playful fun. The woman is a swan queen, shown next to an aspen, which was closely associated with the swan in Europe. Both are related to Persephone, Hades, and the cycle of the seasons. Swans, egrets, and white herons and dolphins all represent the purity of the spirit. Reversed, the Queen of Wands means that everything is sinking into the bottom of the lake to be lost along the dregs and weeds. It is a cautionary card, indicating the ability to free oneself of drowning habits that one loves too much. Inshernakwacha. The King of Cups is the power to ride the whale, the power to dive down into the dark and to rise back up, exploding into light, showering all with foam. This card is pure physical power and can either override or support everything else in the reading. Depicted is the king salmon, an ancient shapeshifter that symbolized the migration, return home, and the ferocity of the upstream battle. The crake is another shapeshifter because it disappears in winter. The crake chick, unlike its siblings, is looking at a salmon, a fish who ate the nuts and the tree of knowledge. It is a symbol of Taliesin, the card of a cannibal witch. The man symboled as a holly king with his firstborn son, the image of the man of the father. Passing along his knowledge to his children is symbolic of the salmon king, who passes along his knowledge only to those who eat his flesh. If the king of card is reversed, the ride is too much. Hold on for dear life to what you can, for you will eventually reach still waters where you can rest once more. But this is also a drowning card, so be cautious and watch out for the tentacles from the dark deeps. Sina Quacha. The Sage of Cups has the power to drink from the waters of life and never drown. This is a power card, supporting other cards with the physical presence, as if the world were itself a living being, breathing all into what you do. The swan is an ancient totem of chastity and monogamy, but also of fertility. The swan is often depicted as an animal groom or a symbol of the sun god. The woman is the white doe, the mother of the nine, who was notorious for enchanting her stag husbands, killing them, and then eating their flesh. This is symbolic of the first level of human experience, that the death of one generation feeds the next. Sex is seen as redeeming in form of death, wherein life is renewed in one's offspring. The Sage of Cups reversed is also a power card, but dark, out of the nightmare world of the deep beyond. This card indicates that everything is unseen and unheard, submerged and prone to weird and strange sensory illusions. Sometimes the way around is through. The card might indicate that you need to hold your breath, perhaps for a long time. The Path of Fire, Wands. This is the suit of clubs, a suit of emotions, joy, sorrow, the power of will, and the madness. The gift of this path is the God-smacked path of poets and inventors celebrating the sheer genius of creativity. The pitfall of this path is the dark emotions of the self, held at bay with anything, alcohol, drugs, or even suicide. The color is red for fire and autumn. Virnavata. The Muse of Wands represents an independent, open, inspiring person who will encourage all effort. The Muse is a warm fire on a stormy night, offering comfort, joy, and welcome. This is the creative muse loved by poets and everyone in pursuit of truth. One nature card shows a moth resting on a nettle. The other nature card shows a butterfly resting on a yarrow plant. The yarrow and the nettle meant argument or war, but the moth and the butterfly were seen as spirits of the dead. The first card shows a moon in a second phase, olive crescent, indicating the passage of emotional power of the channeler. The Anieth card shows the older queen, an ancient dryad, smoking mugwort, another plant of dreams and contention. She presides over the Raven clan's long dance of midsummer. The Muse of Wands reversed shows the face of fear, anger, and delight and destruction. This card indicates a force that wants to destroy everything and begin again. It also represents the force of emotion that turns upon the self, devouring all peace of mind. Lekhnabati. This card is the protector of emotion, of spirit, and of the desire to live. This card represents someone who tries to guide the querent through the dark of the world, but also is a force that drives away the monsters of imagination. This card means no negative emotion or energy will harm the querent. The birds shown are a sparrow sitting on a branch of a currant and a crossbill in a pine tree. The tiny house sparrow was in ancient times a symbol of death. The crossbill is a symbol of eternity in midwinter. Both the currant and the pine were symbols of compassion and the act of sacrifice. The Anieth card shows a champion of the hollow, a berserker bred for his ability to achieve a heightened state of awareness and physical strength. Here he does the dance of fire with flaming spears in front of a holly tree. The Protector of Wands reversed means that the guide is allied with the enemy and is leading one into disaster. It can also mean the force that you thought was helping you is fickle, moody, and unreliable. Arunabhati. The Queen of Wands represents the force of transformation, such as a mother turning inanimate matter into a living child. This card is the transformation of fire. It indicates the power to change any difficult emotion or spiritual crisis into joy and the peace of a warm fire on a cold evening. The nature card depicts wolves with a holly tree. The wolf represents devotion and savagery, the holly tree abundance as the queen of winter and prickly poison. The woman shown is the white wolf queen of the nation of the setting moon in a field of poppies with her wolf companions. All the queens in this deck are pregnant, depicting the symbolism of transformation as the agency of change. They represent several different races of Europe. The poppy and the holly are both poison and nourishment, numbing and irritating. The Queen of Wands reversed indicates that all joy and warmth of spirit is being drained by the force of hatred. burning away the leaves of the tree of life and smoking up into the sky. This queen can destroy old for new or channel all emotional spirit into the maw of hate. Winter Nabati. The King of Wands represents a person who, having mastered some technique, can pass skill and ability along to the next generation, just as a father teaches his children. This card is a mentor of the spirit, demonstrating the mastery of emotion, or a saint embodying dedication to a higher power. This card is a vote of confidence that the next generation will stand securely on the shoulders of the one before it. The lynx and the pine and the wildcat and the bracken are both symbols of stealth, elegance, secret wisdom, supreme alertness, and extreme laziness. They indicate the dual nature of inspiration to elevate or depress, or both at once. The father is teaching his children to enjoy song and dance, the heart of human learning. Before the written word, information was conveyed in the stirring rhythms and rhymes of music. A brutal teacher can foster or sometimes destroy a growing spirit in the young. When the King of Wands is reversed, it means that some person appearing in the reading will burn, beat, or bruise. The resulting lesson might be torn from the harsh hand of discipline because the teacher is full of unresolved anger. Sinabati. The Sage of Wands represents a person who has complete control over their emotions, not from suppression, but through complete and utter trust that the core of the self is divine and part of the world and its magic. This card is a guardian angel beyond good and evil, beyond attachment and loss, who can lead you out of any darkness. Bats mean different things to different people. For the Celts, bats were a symbol of the passage through death into rebirth. They were also seen as tricksters who hid during the day. In some tales, the bat was a mouse who ate forbidden or sacred food that gave its wings. The shaman is a raven shaper who participates in the long dance of midsummer held by the elder. Anyone who cannot dance the entire day and night without falling is sacrificed and eaten. The Sage of Wands upside down is no more evil than the upright card, but it exposes all the feelings of the frightened child personality. This card uses fear, shame, and anger to show that they are only smoke and illusion that can fly away from you forever. The Path of Air, Blades. This is a suit of spades concerned with thoughts, riddles, logic, lies, theater, and illusion. It is a suit of magicians, wizards, investigators, and agents of the government. Talents on this path have the gift of gab, able to sell anything and probe the truth out of the smallest clue. The pitfall of this path is boredom, leading to lies, crimes, and deception. The color of blades is yellow, and the season is winter. Arcana. The Muse of Blades is the muse of shamans, often called the wizard's familiar. Look at any picture of a wizard, scientist, alchemist, or original thinker. If there is an animal in the picture, that is the muse. Books or magical objects are also symbols of this muse, which is a magical path of incantation. Drawing the muse card means that the appearance of someone inexplicable but necessary to make the magic work. The bird is a gold crest, often confused with the wren, the juniper bush with a half moon. The fritillary on the evergreen eringo is a sign of rebirth. The Anieth card shows an owl shaper. The Muse of Blades reversed is the harsh cry of a bird that will not let you sleep. This card is a message from the deeper mind telling you that something important has been forgotten. This muse is a bizarre trickster, like someone singing backwards while doing handstands. Don't try to understand the overt message, but use it to baffle the hostile forces. Beware. the muse may require an answer to a secret riddle. Lake Nashkana. The protector of blades is logic and acute understanding, as if a lawyer was with you all the time, arguing with anyone who tries to cheat you or trap you into some logical scam. This card means that you cannot be taken advantage of by any twist of words or stories. The hero's animal of this suit is the bat, foolish, lucky, and able to go between worlds. The Anieth card shows a warrior of the Birch clan with her bow and arrows. She represents the moon goddess Artemis and has a disdain for anyone who disrupts her privacy. She is part of a group of huntresses who are bound by their vision of the future and a strict code of conduct. This card upside down is the King of Jesters. He will not protect you as much as annoy you, but through annoyance might keep you from going in the wrong direction. You will chase him with a stick and discover that he has led you to the fountain of youth. His teasing aspect is seen in the shapes of mythological creatures, as well as ravens and foxes and other animals who are both curious and annoying. Arunashkana. The Queen of Blades is an agent of the mind. The appearance of this card means that all thoughts can be changed. The mind is the most fluid aspect of being human, and most thoughts are nothing more than smoke and mirrors. This card is telling you that all is illusion and that you can see through it and change your mind. The chamois is Europe's antelope and said to be the origin of the unicorn myth, for its horn was prized for healing. The deer was seen as a sign of She, the deer goddess of the Celts, swift, graceful, and a denizen of the other world's woods. The Anieth card shows the Pine Queen with her cats, an ancient Maeve or Bridget, known for her ability to riddle. The Queen of Blades reversed represents the winds whirling around and around, putting dust in everyone's eyes, tearing at clothes and hair, keeping everyone up all night, and driving everyone to argue and fight. This card is the wind that can blow away all stupidity, but it is also the dust devil that can blind everyone to the truth. Winchernuskana. The King of Blades is the head professor or the master teacher. This card means that all thoughts, stories, theories, and worldviews are transparent and can be understood. This is a card of every teacher, patiently showing each part of the puzzle. The first animal is the red king stag. Each point on his antlers represents a winter of his life. He stands before a flock of crows. The old fox ignores the squawking magpie on his head like an old shaman, ignoring the arrogance of the young. The Anieth card is a man showing his children a craft, passing down the knowledge that was passed to him by his father. Everyone has had a teacher who was into intellectual dueling, and through this kind of interaction, you might have learned both the subject matter and how to stand up for yourself. This card reversed represents a master debater who can talk circles around all opponents. Yet this master is fickle. Whether this card is for you or against you depends heavily on the other cards around it. The king can be good, but if ill-dignified, he might argue you to death. Thenoskana. The Sage of Blades is a person who can see through all deception and who understands completely the illusory forms of thought. The act of meditation has one purpose, and that is to quiet the mind. This card is the guru on the mountaintop who can answer any riddle. This card might mean that you must sit down on your own and think until your distracting thoughts fly away and leave you with the answer. The raven is too intelligent to be a bird. Thief, trickster, creator, a symbol of memory and learning, Odin's bird and brands became a sign of pagan wisdom all over the north. The dryad on the Anieth card is the thorn king, covered in flowers and brambles. He is an ancient symbol of the ambivalence and confusion of great learning, a thicket in which you must find your way. Reversed, the Sage of Blades is almost as wicked as the Devil card. Teasing, this card is the Zen master who sprouts riddles instead of answers. Riddles and more riddles until you want to tear out your hair. Don't, for you will only be met with laughter. This card is a wild card or a joker, so do not expect anything to happen the way you want it to. The path of earth, stones. I put diamonds as the suit of earth in actions, interactions, and commerce, as well as family and parenting. The gifts of this path are social awareness and ability to get along with one's mates, family, and company. This is the merchant suit as well as the path of civilization, extended family, and the clan. This downside and the trap of this path is oppression and overprotection, where one sees enemies in every friend. The season is spring and the color is green for living plants, flowers, and the bloom of life. Björna Klacha. The Muse of Stones is the representation of lucky charm. With it, no matter how a person looks, no matter what their social position, they will be popular, successful, and beautiful. Drawing up this muse is like winning the lottery. Upright, this card will lighten the load of any reading and make it possible to succeed against the odds. The full moon is behind Lady's Mantle, over which hovers a Luna moth. Lady's Mantle, called Alchemilla, is a powerful herb that stops bleeding. The moth is the soul of an immortal. The rose is closely related to Lady's Mantle and also stops bleeding. Its hips and petals are used for food and cosmetics. The bee carries messages to the dead, and the rose means both pleasure and pain. The dryad on the Anieth card is an elder, which is one of the most useful medicinal trees in Europe. Reversed, the Muse of Stones becomes whimsical luck. If this card appears reversed, look for fortune to be fickle and misleading. Success will be there, but it might cost considerably more than it is worth. Lech Naklacha. The protector of stones is like the hero in many stories. For some reason, no matter how foolish the hero might be, by the end of the story they have slain the dragon and won the kingdom. This card represents someone or something that everybody wants on board. This card also represents a magical help, like a purse that never runs out of money, or a man with huge ears who can hear the whisper on the other side of the world. The hero is the humble mouse or the humble tortoise, both animal helpers. In many tales, the mouse will do what other animals are too proud to try, and the turtle is slow and steady. They are both under sea kale, a popular vegetable in ancient Europe. The hero in the Anieth card is not a fighter, but a Rowan stoneworker who throws a stone hunting disc. Upside down, the protector becomes a difficult person who is like an anti-hero, complaining all the way, but eventually getting the job done. This person might have a quirky side, like having enormous feet or drinking up the entire sea. Strange and grouchy is the motif here, so look for that kind of energy in the reading. Aruna Klacha. The Queen of Stones has the kind of magic that can turn a lump of coal into a diamond. This card is better than luck or a talisman, for it is the power to take the basest of metals and create a magical kingdom of riches. This card is the power of earth to come awake in the spring and to turn soil, air, and sunlight into food. The animals are the bison and the bear, both power symbols of Northern Europe and North America. The bison represents endurance and the bear loyalty. The mother bear gives birth to her children in the seclusion of hibernation and is believed to have created them from her own spittle. The Anieth card shows the Serpent Queen, a symbol of twists of time and fate, knowledge of the future, and pleasure and pain of the rose. Reversed, The Queen of Stones is still powerful, but will lead the querent to the superficial goal like an actor who changes face just to get a new role. This face will always be false because one thinks that social action is merely a game to get what one wants. Minshilakaka. One of the most powerful cards in the deck, the King of Stones, will undo any bad luck and make any venture successful. This is the king who laughs at the darkness of winter because he is the roaring Yule log and the flowering ale of summer's harvest. The king card shows a bison, the largest herbivore in Europe. An ancient animal from the ice sheets, the bison can endure great hardship. The other nature card shows a hedgehog, who in ancient times had many of the same meanings of the bear. It is clever, hardworking, and no nonsense. One hedgehog sleeps while the other studies a snail, depicting the two phases of power, work and sloth. The Anieth card shows a man teaching his children about weights and measures, the valuation of the market, and the rates of exchange. Tokens of valuation are essential to human trade. The King of Stones reversed is the King of Winter and the King of the Underworld. This card represents the high price one pays for a magical gift from the darker side of Hades. He will grant your wish, yes, but the price will be your firstborn. Sinaklacha. The Sage of Stones will trump any other card in the deck, bestowing good fortune and the warmth of love and friendship into any reading. This card symbolizes the richness of the world laid out on the ground where everyone can find them. All wealth turns to generosity because the Sage of Dis is the root of wealth, creativity. The hawk, like the falcon, is a lesser bird than the eagle, but the symbol of the sun in both victory and death. It is also a symbol of beauty, for Freya had a cloak of hawk feathers that turned her into a bird. The Anieth card shows an elder dryad, a famous healer whose hands are marked with magic. The elder tree was considered a medicine chest in itself, but it is a tree owned by the dark moon and is considered unlucky for cradles and toys. The Sage of Stones reversed is a desert sage, owing nothing, giving nothing, being nothing. If this card appears in the reading, it is a sign that all fortune is fleeting and that all friendships will end. It is not a nihilistic card, but a card of awareness, not of sorrow, but of peace. The center, chords. Humans are bound by time. I created the fifth suit to show how the spirit is both in and out of time, caught in a web that can be both dark and light. This suit is no season, no time, no color, and concerned with the end of past at the center, where one realizes that life and time and the spirit are all one house. Virnasaha. The muse of chords is the determination to stay centered and on the spiritual path. The four legs of the chair are grounded, body, feelings, thoughts, and actions are all solidly positioned around the spirit. The muse is a card of calling. Sing the chorus of joy and awe of all creation. The tench is the doctor fish of Europe, related to the carp, whose medicine is so potent that when other fish rub up against its slimy skin, they will be healed. The moon is in the waning phase of wisdom and age. Kelp is used by the shamans to snare and enchant animals. The Anieth card shows a shape-shifting lynx woman. The lynx is another image of mystery sacred to the moon, but also representing secrets that could be revealed to the adept. Reversed, the muse of chords denies all forms of conventional reality in order to serve something unseen. This muse is a stray thread leading off to dark places without form or sense. This is the card of chaos that cuts threads of all meaning. Lake Nasnaha. The protector of chords is the lightning spirit that beckons from odd places, tricking people onto the mirror path or astray in the magical realm. This protector weaves a wave of illusion to dazzle or destroy. You may feel surrounded by unseen energy and guided by voices no one else can hear. The spider is the hero of chords, trapping its prey with an invisible net. The web is a symbol of the trickster god, spider god Loki, who was invited to Asgard by Odin in exchange for the famous eight-legged steed. There are many stories about webs or nets made to trap the unwary. The Anieth card shows a warrior of the Ash clan who wears an elaborate outfit of knotted cords. He fights with darts made of poisoned bones. He stands in a fog surrounded by ghost rams whose spiral horns mimic the vortex of time. The protector of chords reversed snares, nets, and binds the unwary in their own fantasies. The protector reversed means that everything is snarled beyond recognition, and the only another powerful card can untangle the knots. Aruna Shnaha. The Queen of Chords is called the Queen of the Spirit. She is Ariadne, who rewinds the thread back out of the maze, but she is also a queen of dreams and secrets. She is a blind queen, working in the dark, but she is also the queen of light, spinning her wheel of fire. This card will unravel all threads and weave them into patterns of song and art that reach up into the skies of the spirit. The nature card shows lynxes crossing a bridge of ash. The lynx is said to be able to see through objects. The cat's name means white and may have been related to the ancient god Lula Gifts. The Anya card shows the elk queen riding her white pony. The Anya royals depict different races of Europe. This suit belongs to the Sami, or the Norse, who have oriental eyes of blue and a brown face with ash blonde hair. Reversed, the Queen of Chords is like a spider, eating her own kind in the darkness, weaving all color and contrast into gray. She is the card of sorrow and loss, a somber card that adds a solemn tone to the rest of the reading. Winternataha. The King of Chords is a creative power binding all forces into a pattern of instruction, discipline, and spiritual awakening. This is the fisherman of the Christians, the king who nets the souls of those who are lost and infuses them with the light of knowledge. This card means that all is illumined with intricate patterns of meaning. Be patient and look. The owlets are watching the white wave moths. The owls are messengers to the other world. The moths represent the souls of the dead. But one owl has his head cocked, as if trying to understand the message. The Anya card shows a northern family mending nets. Each of the kings on the royal cards is teaching his children a different craft or caring for them. A knight protects, a father teaches. If the King of Chords is reversed, the net of meaning is a net of entrapment, an inability to tell one strand from another, a cacophony of random notes that form no melody but harass you with noises and nightmares. This card reversed means that everything is a squirming mass of screaming blindness that provokes feelings of desperation and futility. Sina Saha. The Sage of Chords represents the ability to walk the tightrope and never lose balance. This is a steady rope bridge over the dark chasm of time, connecting one generation to another across centuries. This card represents the transmission of knowledge through time and means that everything is part of the same matrix of life. All can be joined together and woven into a fabric of generations to come. The barn owl is the most hated and feared of European owls. The little owl was an owl of Athena, but the barn owl was looked upon as a bringer of death. It is a solitary bird that mates for life. Here it is seen against a galaxy, a river of a bridge of souls over the immortal lands. The Anieth card shows the Ash Mother, another figure like Frigg, who spin out stars from her distaff. Here she casts her net of stars, bringing light into the darkness. The Sage of Quartz reversed is the inability to grasp the great hand behind the curtain of stars. It is a card of caution, indicating that more time is needed, more study, more thought, more discipline, as one is to comprehend infinity. If you want to buy my cards or the book, go to my Etsy store and look for Tales of Anieth. If you would like more information on any of the cards or the tarot or the Western Way, please see my other videos or visit my website at www.anieth.com. Thank you. Blessed be.